Yeah.
Pick it up.
Off. Resting on the log.
I don't even know how the hell to get here.
Now go. All right. How about now? Now good? Now?
Now seems good.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and point out some of the main reasons for this, and this is kind of what we teach in the novice body positioning class that we teach at the track. So, of course, one of the things that I pointed out in the beginning is stability. You've got a lot of centrifugal force going on here that adds to the stability of the bike, but being upright, like we were talking about on the street, if you're bolt upright and you take a turn, you rely a lot on your arms and your shoulders to do a lot of the input on the steering, correct? Well, think about a lower center of gravity. So if you lower your center of gravity, bending your elbows a little bit, and what are you doing here? You're allowing that to be a little bit more flexible. You're not going to have the same kind of input on the bars as you would if you bolt upright, especially for the turns, okay? So you're lowering your center of gravity here as well, which also allows for turn in, changes to direction in your turn, especially, I forget what road it is, I haven't ridden it forever and a day, but it has this just amazing decreasing radius going up it, and forget where the heck it is. Yeah.
Chili Bar.
Chili Bar, is that where it is?
Let's see.
So, if you're, tons! Wentworth Springs, that's the one.
Wentworth has a good one.
So, on the decreasing radius turns, if you're bolt upright, all you can really do is lean and lean and lean and lean and lean, and that's it. Whereas, if you're more flexible on the bars, you can start lowering your body a little bit more. But you're not really doing anything with the bars in the input, right? See what I'm saying? So you're allowing yourself to get more over on the bike, let more of your body tilt that motorcycle into the turn without having to do more pushing and increasing that leaning. Okay?
Basically what you're saying is you are effectively leaning the motorcycle over, even though the motorcycle isn't actually moving. But you're adding more lean, or effective lean, by moving your body over and the center of gravity over.
You can decrease your turn in without necessarily changing the lean angle of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Okay? You're allowing for more contact patch of the tire. And that's what we also talk about, is contact patch of your tire. There's only so much, right? I don't know how many of you have done slides, you know, losing the front. We all have, or some of us have.
The front, the rear, your hip.
It's still there.
No, you got a new one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's bionic. It needs a dessert fitting. So, if you're bolt upright, you only have so much that you can do. If you know this is you on top of the bike, there's only so much that you can lean that motorcycle over before you're going to lose all the contact patch on the tire. Whereas, if you offset your body to the motorcycle, what are you doing? You still can go through the turn at the same rate, but you're getting more contact patch out of that tire. And so thereby you can get on the gas a little bit harder to lean a bit further over and allow yourself to get to that corner a little bit faster as well. You want to add to the top one? Sure, I'm missing a couple. Vision. Yeah, that's a good one. Vision. This one is for street applications is going to be a little different. Obviously, a left-hand turn, you're going to have a lot more vision than a right-hand turn, especially on places like Mosquito Ridge Road, which is very narrow and it's really hard to see around. So this is one of the areas that when I did some looking up it's kind of controversial because if you do lower your head, you are going to decrease your vision on that. So what you might be able to do in cases like that is instead of necessarily lowering your body, is moving your body a little bit more off to the side. And I actually have a video of Joe doing just that. He's not really so low centered on, you know, his head isn't down here like you'd see, you know, Rossi and all those kind of guys. Rather bring yourself up a little bit and maybe even just push over a little bit more like this. Does that make sense? I mean, you know, for those that ride on the track, there's tons of vision. You know, there's no trees and boulders, mountains, trucks, all that kind of stuff. They're necessarily
Minivans, soccer moms.
What's that?
Minivans, soccer moms.
Yeah. And allow you to you know, still allow you to lean the motorcycle the way you want to, but still keeping your head a little bit more upright. You're effectively still doing the same thing in what you're trying to do here without necessarily giving up the vision per se.
Ride proud, right?
Right.
Ride proud.
Right, proud, that's it.
And probably the last thing I want to go ahead and touch up on is comfort. Now, a lot of people say, God, doesn't leaning off the bike like that look, that looks awfully uncomfortable. Actually, as he was touching up on, it really isn't. It really isn't. It allows you to still stay connected with the motorcycle, and if anything else, it should alleviate the pressure on your arms and your shoulders. Yeah, I mean, he's connected with this bike. He's got his butt off the seat. He's got his shoulders over off to the side. But he actually is pretty relaxed. I mean, sitting still, obviously it's a lot more uncomfortable. When you got the centrifugal motion going, you're really alleviating a lot of that pressure on the bars and your shoulders and everything else. Yeah? You guys take really long street rides and come back and your arms are killing you and your shoulders are killing you, your neck, you know, you just feel like, please God, someone give me a massage.
Only if it's slow. If I get stuck behind traffic, that's when everything starts to hurt. I'm just like, oh God.
Right.
How many guys, I'm not gonna say guys, how many people here do 2-ups? In other words, you have your significant other behind you. Using your lower part of your body really, really helps. I do 2-ups on the track, and one of the things I noticed right off the bat, especially with anybody that weighs more than 100 pounds, is I had to figure out how to get that weight off my shoulders. And I've had guys as big as Sarge here. Is it Sarge or Colonel?
Yeah, Sarge.
Okay, we'll work with Sarge. Maybe not his size, but maybe slightly smaller. And after about 2 laps, you know, I'm done. So I had to figure out how to redistribute that weight. And it works from whether you're solo or especially with 2-ups, you have to get that weight off your shoulders. And especially if you go down like Chili Bar Road or even Mosquito Ridge, you're going down on the brakes. That's a lot of weight coming over the front. And you're constantly trying to hold her back. And, you know, she's falling asleep on the back or he's falling asleep on the back and get the, you know, the helmet bump. You can just be smoother. So that certainly helps with squeezing with your legs and keeping your upper body, because the longer you ride, obviously, the more taxing it's going to be. So you start using your legs, and your leg muscles are way bigger than your shoulders. So unless you're some freak of nature like Cody, which got little tiny legs and big shoulders, it's like God built you upside down. You know, most people are going to get really, really tired, but your lower legs will probably be better suited to squeeze the tank.
Right. And then, of course, you're going to basically transfer a lot of energy that you're putting in on the bike from up to down. So again, like you touched on the legs, but not just that, also your core muscles here, your stomach and your abdomen. A lot of that is going to be used in also keeping yourself up along with your legs. Yeah? Okay.
Kind of to touch back on bike stability, has anybody here had a tank slapper before? Or you know what that is?
Yeah. The guys without the steering dampers are like, oh yeah.
People without steering dampers, that's pretty common on the street when you hit real big bumps on the street, or there's, you know, I got one on Latrobe Road where there was a little lump of pavement where the tree roots had pushed it up. Bought a steering damper the very next day. But it didn't help me at the time, so, but what would have helped is if I had alleviated the pressure on the bars, and that's kind of goes back to what we were talking about, having light pressure on the bars. A tank slapper can be caused if you misalign the front tire with the rear tire by going over a bump, and you can make that worse by trying to muscle your way through it and giving steering input as you go over a bump like that. But if you're nice and loose, the bike will want to track straight and come right out of that tank slapper or that head shake.
Actually, the faster you're going too, the centrifugal force, I'm not going to say that word right today, the centrifugal force.
Wait, one more time.
Well, actually, you know, it's going to want to keep that bike even more stable, gyroscopic effects, as well as going to want to stand it straight up and down. So, you know, as we've talked about on the track before, if you get a tank slapper, ride it out. Don't let off the gas. You're just putting more pressure down on the front end, right? So if you ride it out, keep the throttle at least neutral, it's going to stabilize itself as long as you don't fight it, okay? So with that, we're going to go ahead and just kind of go through a quick demonstration of how you do this on the street and the track that's applicable in both cases. 2 things that we want to point out. The first thing is this is a sequential process, and you're going to see this in some of the videos that I'm going to show as well. It's a sequential process you do in 1 step at a time to prepare yourself for the upcoming turns and so forth, and switching back and forth. The second thing we want to point out is this is kind of a general guideline. This is like we try to teach it as a general guideline, tips and tricks for you to take back to your bike, because look at all this. We're all this different heights, different weights, all our bikes are different. Handlebars might be closer, further away, depending on what you're riding. Cut out of the tank. Leathers, for example, some leathers don't have as much stretchy panel in your legs, so you can't spread your legs out quite as far in your leathers. Things of that. So remember that you and your bike are very different from everybody else, so adapt to what we're teaching you, to you and your riding style, your body position, and so forth and so on, that it makes, for the end-all be-all, comfortable. You want to try and be as comfortable as possible when you're doing this. Yeah. Okay, so Brian here is going to go ahead and be the potatoes on the motorcycle here. So the